Welcome back in live to another episode of Rock Boys Football. We are on vacation in Florida, but the content will not be stopping as we preview the Rose Bowl between the Utah Utes and the Ohio State Buckeyes. We've actually recorded this video already, but then Chris Olave opted out. Greer Wilson opted out. I'm pretty sure Haskell Garrett opted out. And so we thought we'd
Petit Frere,
Petit
another
Frere
one.
opts out. And so we thought we'd just review it again. The lines have moved a little bit. The lines were starting at 7 even, so Ohio State was about a touchdown favorite. Down they're down to 4.5-point favorites on the money line. They're minus 180. The over/under stays up at 64, which is interesting, considering that a lot of offensive weapons have opted out for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Dill, I know you're passionate about this game. I'm gonna let you have a day here. What's your entry point onto the Rose Bowl here between the Utah Utes and the Buckeyes?
I think I'll echo what the Michigan coach has said about Ohio State. That's a soft football team. Been a little soft all year. Yeah, they can score. They can hit explosive plays, but Oregon showed, Michigan clearly showed. You can pound it on that team if you are committed to the run and are physical up front. I think Utah has the tools to do exactly what Michigan did. Really hard running backs, really solid, powerful offensive line, and they have a really good defensive line. So I think you have a Oregon team that can Utah team that can kind of implement the Michigan style and beat this Ohio State team up a little bit.
Yeah, I actually I like that take a lot. I think this Utah team reminds me a lot of a Michigan football team. They like to run the ball a lot. Tavion Thomas has been an emerging star for the Utes. Could you when I'm talking get me his height and weight? I'm kind of interested. I think he's just an absolute bruiser. I wouldn't be surprised if it's around 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, gotcha.
Dude's an absolute bruiser. I hope I'm not wrong with those measurements, but he does strike me as like
He looks big.
And they like to lean on that run game. But then Cam Rising is just like Cade McNamara is. He's good enough throwing the ball to hurt you when you bring those safeties up. I think that this Utah Utes team will be able to run against an Ohio State team that you definitely have questions of how much they're going to want to be playing in this game. Ohio State had a lot of seniors come back. A lot of guys opt out of the NFL draft last year to come win a national championship this year. And obviously, it's been extremely underwhelming season for them. So the Utes have no opt-outs. They're all excited to play in this game. They're on a I think 6-game win streak. They've been hot as heck. I love the Utes in this game. I liked them when they were 7-point dogs. I like them when they're 4-point dogs. I'm taking the money line here. I'm staying away from the spread because it's gonna be a high-scoring game. 4.5 points is kind of meaningless. Give me in plus 155 money line. I'm riding with the Utes.
Yeah, and I think you've seen Vegas maybe underrate Utah all year. I think both Oregon games, they come in like close to pick'ems, and once is a dog, and I mean they wiped them out both times. So I think this is another situation where it's like Ohio State seems to be getting a lot based on their name, and I see Utah like in a similar vein as Michigan. It just seems like they're going to be able to implement exactly what Michigan did, and I would say the Michigan game wasn't even close. Like you could argue the score was much closer than the actual game was. Like a couple big fourth downs from like the moon kept Ohio State in that game, but otherwise we probably beat them by like 30 points. So I think Utah has a good defense, a defensive line that's almost assuredly going to be a very big problem for that.
Lloyd gets a lot of credit for this Utah Utes defense being very good, only allowing 20 points per game. But this defensive line does not get enough credit for being very physical in the run game and getting after the passer. And then obviously Devin Lloyd has been phenomenal and honestly might be my linebacker one when it's all said and done, making a phenomenal case to be. So I think he's going to be great. And I guess I'll talk about one more thing before we wrap up here. I also like the under here. We talked about it. A lot of Ohio State offensive weapons opted out. and now Jackson Smith-Njigba, who's been, I mean, the only consistently healthy receiver, but he's also been phenomenal. He's a former 5-star stud. He's really it's gonna be him and Julian Fleming. Those are gonna be the guys who are kind of thrusted in the spotlight, and they have some receivers underneath them on the depth chart who are also very capable.
Apparently, Emeka Ibuka, are you hearing from the
Yeah,
Ohio
yeah,
State
yeah,
fans,
yeah,
beat the
yeah,
drum for him.
yeah.
So we'll see.
And he's been good. He's been good in the return game, and I expect him to lean hard on Travion Henderson, who's absolutely phenomenal running back. He'll be a first-round pick, potentially Heisman winner. I love that kid. He's got it all. As a true
Yeah.
freshman, it's been extremely.
The only problem is I think Utah's been scoring a lot of points against everybody, and I feel like Ohio State's still going to score a little bit. So I'm not as high on the under. I'm much more into the money line Utah pick. That's kind of what my lean is.
Yeah.
But
yeah, what it
I don't.
is which of these
Also, Utah can make special teams plays. That Britton Covey for just one of the best punt returners I've ever seen in my life. So it's like
he's like a
Utah does some things, and Cam Rising in the run game makes a couple of big plays a game, it seems. So I don't know. I don't love the over under. I still think Ohio State can score. They still have CJ Stroud and Travion. So yeah, they're losing the two big wideouts, but they've done a good job recruiting at the wideout as much as.
Are they going to be able to protect? I mean, Petit Frere's opted out. DeWanda Jones.
I don't suspect consistently, but they'll probably make a couple of big plays. In my thought.
I don't I mean, what I saw out of, I know Michigan has one of the best defensive lines in the country, but Ohio State couldn't protect at all, especially in that fourth quarter. Now you're losing your best tackle. I don't know if you're going to kick out there Munford again, but he didn't look that great on tackle either.
Oh, he had a problem.
What are they? And what it comes down to, that over under, is is it going to be more of a defensive dominated games against two defenses who've only allowed 20 points per game, or is it going to be more of an offensive game where we're going to see these teams put up 35, 45 a game? It's probably going to meet in the middle. I just think Ohio State, or I think Utah's going to lean on that run game a lot. That's kind of the recipe, I think. But again, it's a tight one. I'm with you. I like the money line.
Problem is Michigan leaned on the run game too, and they basically covered that point spread. Even if
they scored on every single drive in the second half, I think. Right? It was 13.
I know, but we passed the ball 3 times in the second half.
I know, and what I'm saying, we just ran the ball right down the field and scored. So I agree.
But if
you score every drive. Yeah.
I guess that's unlikely, but it's still, they covered it by almost 2 score. Well, at least 1 touchdown. So
good.
I don't know. I love Utah. Yeah, I can't wait for the beating they're about to slap on Ohio State, and I'll love every second of it.
It's going to be a good one. I don't think it's going to be as much of a beating because at the end of the day, Ohio State's still extremely, extremely talented. But I just there is not a hotter football team in the country than the Michigan Wolverines and the Utah Utes. I mean, they're both playing.
The Utes are extremely high playing.
You don't want to play Utah, and I don't think.
And they're pumped.
Yeah, so that's a review for us. It's gonna be a good one. I'm excited to see what CJ Stroud can do without his guys, but as usual, appreciate you guys being here with us. We'll be back with some more bowl previews. There's New Year's Six Bowls. Talk to y'all then. Peace.